So here's the funny thing. I had just done an episode kind of hinting at Iran, like mentioning that situation, and why we have no business going over there and doing anything, right? Because we have so much going on here in America right now. Fallout from the files, no justice on that. We have other countries internationally who are taking people to court, bringing people up on charges. People are resigning from prominent positions. But here in America, we're not even doing a follow up investigation on any of the names in these files at all. And Congress allegedly viewed the unredacted files and said there's so much more evidence there, but nothing's being done about that. And now we've decided to bomb Iran. We've decided to bomb them. Now, why are we bombing them? Well, because they could have nukes, of course. We don't want them to build up their nuclear fields, but except the problem is, just a few months ago, they bombed Iran and gave the same exact reason why we did it that time. Now, they're giving some other reasons this time because they know that that won't hold any water. But anyone who's claimed before that we didn't take out all their enrichment facilities, Trump said that that was fake news. But now we're bombing them again because we don't even want to give them the chance to rebuild their enrichment fields. And again, I caution everybody and tell everybody to just go back and look at the Greater Israel Project Manifested Doctrine. Go look at the Wolfowitz Doctrine. Go look at the paperwork of what they want to do, right? So this is exactly why Iran has been a target. I mean, Iran has been 1 week from a nuclear weapon for like 30 years. They've been 1 week away from a nuke. And it's funny, you have a country like North Korea that has nukes. We know they have them. That is right now calling for the death penalty for all Israelis. It says that Israel's a terror state, but we're not bombing North Korea. We're not doing that. We know that's not going to end well. And Israel has no care in the world about North Korea. They don't give a shit about North Korea. They care about Iran because they want that land. They want to destabilize it. They constantly want wars in the Middle East that benefit nobody but Israel. People could say, why the hell are we in the Middle East again? Why is there never any peace in the Middle East? It all started in the 1940s with a certain state being formed. That's why there's no peace in the Middle East and constant conflict. And all our sons and daughters are supposed to go to war for Israel. But Mr. Trump, of course, got three, not one, not two, but three draft deferments to get out of Vietnam. So here he is in a press conference talking about what he's going to send our sons and daughters, and some Americans may die, but that's a sacrifice that, we need to be that he's willing to take. Well, he wasn't willing to take that sacrifice for himself, was he, Mr. Three Draft Deferments? It's funny no one ever brings that up either, that our president is a draft dodger. For someone who's so full of patriotism and so pro-military, he sure got out of his possible service stint very quickly, didn't he? He sure had no desire to fight in anything. And no one ever brings that up. No one ever brings that up. And I love, they talk about Iran had this, and Iran's leader, who they killed, by the way, in one of the raids, one of the bombing raids, took out Iran's supreme leader. Oh, he supposedly killed all these people, and he killed Americans back in the 90s. I mean, he literally said that in the speech, and one of the reasons. They referenced things that were done by Iran in the 80s and 90s as a justification for what we're doing right now, bombing them. So, and then, of course, MAGA and all the morons, all the uninformed people are cheering this. Oh, we got rid of the terrorists, and we're taking out all the terrorism, and they claim they're doing this to liberate the Iranian people, to help them institute a new government, a new regime, because the Iranian people allegedly didn't like this regime, so we need to help them with regime change. No, I mean, I think we need a foreign country's help to help us with our regime change. Because I'm tired of Benjamin Netanyahu. Because no matter who's elected president of the U.S., it seems Benjamin Netanyahu's still the president. What's up with that? Okay, now, let's be real here. I'm not going to go into a 55-minute speech about the direct details of this conflict. Truth be told, I'm tired of talking about it. I've been sounding the alarm about this for so fucking long. Nobody listens. And again, I'll just be flat out honest. I got a lot to work out with this podcast. I got a lot to work on to make this more an interesting listen. But there's plenty of people who are already saying the same thing that I'm saying, much better, and going into great detail about each point. So I'm just going to keep this purely face value, purely face level, but drop some knowledge at the same time. So we're going to be lectured on morality by the same people who are in the Epstein files. They're going to lecture us on morality and Iran being terrorists and being bad people. People in the Epstein files are going to lecture us about bad people. I think you need your fucking head examined, to be honest with you. And also, by the way, with Iran specifically, there's a lot of prophecies in the Bible about Iran, right? And maybe if people want to hear that, I'll go into that in a separate episode. But the thing with Iran is it's very interesting because of all these countries, of course, I've talked about the list of the countries that don't have a Rothschild central bank. Iran has been on that list. Iran still does not have a Rothschild central bank. North Korea does not either. But everybody knows that there's going to be an alliance. Gog and Magog in the Bible. There's going to be an alliance that goes against the formidable Babylonian powers. So America, Israel rule the world in their conquesting empire. However, there will be an alliance of nations that come against that one world power structure. And I think people with a brain have the understanding that Iran and North Korea are going to get together. We'll wait and see what Turkey does. But these countries are going to get together and form an alliance against a common enemy, which is this American colonialism. Because America can't keep its fucking dick in its own pants, so to speak. America cannot stay out of the business of other countries and just deal with what's going on here. Regulating taxes, lowering inflation, boosting the economy, keeping criminals out on the streets, stopping the division, not having all our tax money go to foreign countries. No, we're not worried about any of this, but we're going to go to Iran and help the population that wants regime change. We're going to bomb them so that they get that regime change. Where in the fuck is the priorities right now? Investigate the criminals on the files. No, we're going to bomb Iran. That's what we're going to do. The same president who ran on no new wars and the same MAGA idiots that constantly, the one defense that they would always bring up with Trump is, well, he's not bringing us into any war. What are you saying now? What the fuck are you saying now? But they're still defending it because they go, well, Iran is full of bad people. So now, we're getting rid of terrorism. So you're getting rid of So let me get this straight. Iran is the terrorists. We bomb them in their country. We go over there and bomb them. And they're still the terrorists. I'll pull up the dictionary and read the definition of terrorism, but it's not sounding like Iran is the terrorist to me. I could be wrong. Let's think about what we did when we went in Iraq. Did we liberate them did we liberate them? We created a vacuum so more Muslim fundamentalist groups could just take over. So if our argument is, we got rid of a Quado Muslim extremist regime, we destabilize these countries that allow other Muslim extremist organizations to just take over in a vacuum of power. So that's why when people say we destabilize the Middle East, we don't liberate it, because we do. We destabilize it. We destroy all the resources in these places. We destroy any type of political advancement opportunities, and we actually create a vacuum that creates more alleged terrorism by the same logic that's applied in in the affirmative argument that yes, we should have bombed Iran. Now, it's funny how people who said no new wars and everything else can spin this to make it a good thing, and they say, well, it might not lead into a catastrophe, just like when we bombed them a few months ago. That didn't actually lead into anything. That has no relevance on nothing. That has no relevance on anything. And it's funny, they're going after Iran because they know that if they launch a missile over here, there'll be a detection system that'll catch it. Right? And it's going to be very hard to launch a missile over water, obviously. So America thinks it's safe by doing this. Now, again, they're not going to go after North Korea. They're not going to go after Russia because these countries have nukes. Nukes can go over water. They can go very far. Right? So we're talking about a missile detection system here. But, Iran is still bombing American embassies in these Middle Eastern countries, some allied buildings, and they've been sending some bombs out to Tel Aviv. And, and it's funny, the first site that we bombed, when we bombed Iran a couple nights ago, the first site that we bombed was an elementary school. Well, nights ago, it was daytime over there, because it was in the middle of the night here, and it was like the morning to afternoon over there. And, of course, in Iran, they go to school 6 days of the week, so it was a Saturday. So at an all-girls elementary school, bomb dropped right on top of them. We killed, I think it's like, they say about 100 schoolgirl children. That's the first thing we did. So think about that. This is supposed to be a heroic act to stop terrorism and a fundamentalist regime. And the first thing that we do is bomb and kill children. Someone said it good. Our government is so great at killing children and or SAing children. That's what they do. Those are the two things our government is the best at and the elites are the best at. So I'm tired of this self-righteous nonsense. I'm tired of fighting wars for Israel, because what Israel does, and everything that we do in the Middle East, right, is because of what Israel wants us to do. They make us do their bidding for them. So are we the United States of America, or are we the United States of Israel? Every one of those countries that we bombed when we did our war on terror was in Israel's interest, because they called on us in the 90s to do that. They wanted us to go into Iraq. They wanted us to go into Afghanistan and all these places. They wanted Gaddafi out of power in Libya. They wanted all of this stuff. Right? The clean break memo is real, people. You can go read it. It's on the internet. Google is your friend. But they needed a reason, of course, to have us go. We can't just go. People aren't going to, the public isn't going to swing the support. But let's blame this on radical Islamic terror. And let's stage 9/11. And guess what? Then we'll have the people's support. And it doesn't matter, because even people who believe in that shit and believe that 9/11 was somehow orchestrated by a rogue Islamic organization based out of a cave, even if people believe that shit, they don't believe that that war was justified. Now, just because there's no boots on the ground yet doesn't mean there won't be. It doesn't matter if people say it's not a world war yet or multinational conflict yet. The point is, it will become one. It will become one. You are playing with fire. We have shit that we need to do here in this country. Why are we worried about other countries? If you can answer that question satisfactorily, I will stop talking about it. But if you cannot answer that question, MAGA, and if you cannot answer that question, uninformed idiot Israeli bootlickers, then you have no sustenance to your viewpoint. And yes, some American servicemen have already died. They've already died. They've already been hit with some bombs from Iran's counter missile fires. This is just such fucking bullshit all the way around. I'm so fucking pissed at this. So fucking pissed. This is not what we need to be doing in any capacity. And you want to talk about we need to censor this person, we need to limit this, people need to stop being anti-Semitic. How in the hell are you helping that cause when you're basically coming out and admitting why we're doing this? You're admitting that you're doing this for Israel. Nobody in America gives a shit about Iran. They only give a shit because you have the boomers and MAGA hyped up to believe this is a good thing on the Fox News. They're watching Fox News getting hyped up. But Iran has nothing to do with an American's day-to-day life. The situation in Iran with supposedly people there don't like the regime, right? But all these protest evidence, these all look like orchestrated protests to me. I mentioned that in some of the videos of this, you have people wearing yarmulkes. There are no open people practicing Judaism in a supposed Islamic state. Okay, that's not allowed, all right? Supposedly, Iran is straight Sharia law. People are not going to be wearing yarmulkes. So these protests look doctored. But if the people in Iran don't like their government and want a regime change, that's their responsibility to do it. That's not America's responsibility to come over there and launch an attack to supposedly send the waves to make that happen. We need a regime change here. That's what we fucking need. But like I've long stated, you can't vote out the Rothschilds. You can't vote out the Rockefellers. You cannot vote out the other 11 families. You cannot vote out the Israeli lobbies. You cannot vote out the Bilderberg Group and partners. You cannot vote out the Israeli Synagogue of Satan, Revelation 2 and 9 oligarch empire. So these people say, oh, I'm going to vote for this person next time, and I'm going to vote for this and this and this. Yeah, keep voting. Keep voting. Keep wasting your fucking life signing your John Hancock on a fucking ballot that they throw down the river. Keep doing it. Keep fucking doing it. Because it doesn't matter what you vote for or who you vote for or what your intentions are when you're voting. You know who I vote for? The Lord Jesus Christ. That's who I vote for. And he's going to come back and he's going to fucking destroy this shit. He is going to fucking destroy your beloved America. That you pledge allegiance to every day and say, oh, it's a wonderful country full of freedom. We take care of all this shit. We save this country from terrorism. But who's going to save you from sin? That's my question to you. That's my question. Who's going to save you from that? Trump? I don't fucking think so. Mr. Adulterer, fornicating, child rapist. I don't think Trump's going to be saving you people. I think you people need to be getting right with the Lord Jesus Christ. And I think your time is thinning away. While you stand in solidarity with this patriotism and this American terrorism conquesting bullshit, saying we need to interfere with other nations and their sovereignty, constantly getting involved in the squabbles of other nations while our own nation is fucking plundering to the ground. You know what? I stand with the Iranian regime. I have sympathy for those people. These people are just trying to run a country the way they want to run it, and they have the one world United States of Israel power structure trying to fuck with them. Trying to force them to have a Rothschild central bank, and they don't want it. They don't want to be a part of the American Babylonian Empire. So this is what they get in return. They don't want to give their land over to the Greater Israel Project. So this is what they get in return. And you know something? On that day, you ask me if Iran and North Korea team together, do I side with them more than America? I side with Iran and North Korea. 100%. Because they're smart enough to look at what America and Israel are doing and say, no, that's not right, what's being done under the guise of patriotism and freedom. Constitutional protected freedoms. No, that's not how a constitutionally society patterned after such would behave in any way, shape, or form. And people constantly wonder why people in the Middle East fucking hate Americans. They wonder why these Arab countries do not like America. How fucking stupid do you have to be to not understand why they would not like America? How fucking stupid do you have to be if you see a bunch of American soldiers come into your land and grape your women, destroy your homes, bomb your communities? Are you going to turn around and say, "Oh wow, I love America. Wow, they're liberating my country right now"? No, they're terrorizing your fucking country. Doesn't matter what they say they're doing. Look at someone's actions. Right? Isn't that what you learn when you're a kid? Never judge someone by their words. Look at their actions. Doesn't matter what they say they're doing. What are they actually doing? America can say they're spreading freedom and democracy to the world, but what are they actually doing? What are they actually spreading? War, violence, hatred, murder, rape, and lawlessness. Like the Bible says, the mighty Babylon in the book of Revelation will spread the wine of their indignation to all these other nations. They are spreading their one world order power structure all around and forcing all nations to cooperate or be destroyed. All right. I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't want to get too heated. I think I've said my piece. I'm very pissed about this. I'm 100% against what's going on here in Iran. I don't support this in any metric. This is lawless. This is disgusting. This is sick. This is wicked. And this is 100,000% a distraction from the Epstein files. They want to get off that subject real quick. And it's funny, the first time some of those files came out a couple months ago is when we did the Venezuela thing, like the next day. And now we got this going on. I mean, this is not... Your claim of America being this empire of greatness, this is not what a great empire does. Force other countries to be at their will and beck and call. If you're truly a great empire, then you stand on your own volition and help your people. You don't go into other countries and try to force... And what's funny is one of the claims is they tried to say Iran was forcing people to convert to Islam. Well, are you not forcing them right now to convert to your Americanism way? I don't know. People might not understand that parallel, but it's out there. Any questions, you let me know. This is the Gentile Defender on the new channel. Hopefully they don't start putting strikes on this channel because JTube is heavily censored, heavily restricted, but it encompasses the largest audience that I can give these messages and monologues out to in these podcast episodes. But like I said, I don't want to talk about this for hours. It's very, very depressing. There's so much other stuff I can get to, but as far as the specifics and other stuff, there are people that are saying it better that you can go look at. I know I'm not the only one against this, and at this point, if people still, like I said, if people are still defending this shit, then there's no hope for them. I'm sorry, if people are still patriots that love America and say America's the greatest, freest country in the world, while we're terrorizing and bombing countries in the Middle East because Israel wants it to be done, and you can't separate that connection because Israel is sending out bombs to them too, and if you remember correctly, Israel was supposed to bomb them months ago to destroy the enrichment fields, and we ended up doing it. So they say they can fight their own wars, but they always have to get America involved in it either way. They take our tax money, they take our weapons, they take our intelligence, and then use it to bewilder their Middle Eastern foes and then involve us by proxy, and then we get involved in it. And look at Iraq and Afghanistan. How many Americans died in that shit? How many Americans died over there fighting for Israel? Not even for America, fighting for Israel. One thing I've never understood about the military is they say they're fighting for freedom. How are you fighting for the freedom of your country by being thousands of fucking miles away from your country, terrorizing other countries that have nothing to do with the bottom line? And then these same people want to act bewildered and beguiled when Arab Muslims say they don't really like the West, they don't really like the U.S. Huh? Are you fucking stupid? You could put all the stock you want into the U.S. You could pledge allegiance to the stupid flag for which it stands for now. You could pledge allegiance to Mr. Orange Man. You can pledge allegiance to all the billionaires in the Epstein files. You can pledge allegiance to the Federal Reserve. You can pledge allegiance to credit card debt. You can pledge allegiance to liquidation, drowning, high rent, mortgage costs. You can pledge allegiance to anti-Christianity, anti-biblicism. You can do that stuff to your heart's content. But the fact of the matter is, on the day of judgment, if you stand with America, you will be destroyed by Jesus Christ when he returns. You cannot serve two masters. You either serve Yahweh or you serve America. The choice can only be yours. And lastly, at the time of this recording, it's been estimated about 1,412 bombs and or missiles have been shot by the U.S. in Iran. And the guys that they used, the justification for why we did this, was to help regime change in Iran, to give the people incentive to overthrow their government. You know, I think that would be enough bombs dropped to signify that. I think the Iranian people, if they allegedly want that, would be like, okay, that's enough now. We'll overthrow this government now. We don't need you to keep dropping. We're not even going to have a home left to stand back into. We're not even going to have a place to call home if we do institute a new government. So, just to let you know that it has absolutely nothing to do with that. And anyone with a brain, with intelligence, knows that already. Iran is seen as a big threat because it doesn't succumb to the United States of Israel elitist 13 families power structure, the one world order. They have no interest in being part of the one world order. So that is why they're an enemy off rip. Thank you.